Cross my heart and hope to die. Welcome to my dark side.
Sam, we're gonna go ahead and get into it. So now this is gonna be a little different because I mean we have so much material to choose from. So this one was kind of brought up last week. We were kind of talking about it offline, and so um, we wanted to talk about Sword Art Online. I mean, I look, it's been out for a while. Really good anime, really good manga. Enjoyed it thoroughly through. If you are into, I guess if you're not familiar, manga, manhwas, they come in different genres. This is the I got isekai into a video game, kind of, sort of, except at least in season one, the video game you in, you can die from. So, and let me give you the breakdown of what's going on here, so we can get into it a little bit more. So, your main character, his name is Kirigaya Kato. That's his real name. But in the video games, he goes by Kirito. You know what I'm saying? It's a brand new video game gets released, and it is VR. I think they're in the 20. I think it's like the year 2020. Yeah, it's way into the future, their version of the future, and you can take this VR headset, put it on, and then you in the game. I mean, you just sit there, and your whole mind, body, the whole thing is moved over to the game, and everything's all good. So he was a beta tester for the game, so he knows the ins and outs. And they get into the game, everything's cool until an announcement comes on, and they tell him basically you're trapped in the game. There's no way out, and the only way out is to defeat all the bosses. And nobody really believes it at first. I mean, it's shock. I think the first clue that should have tuned everybody in is all the people whose characters were dressed as somebody else, men as women, women as men. You're anything other than yourself. When the announcement is made, then they go back to their actual appearance, how they actually look in real life. So that should have been clue number one, things is getting real. But right after the announcement is made, the people are trying to log out. Everybody's trying to log out, and they find out they can't log out. The other part is that if you manage to, other people are killing themselves. So if you kill yourself, you die in the real world. And so nobody really believes that. I mean, people take it serious than others, some don't. But you're basically stuck with, this whole environment where you got little kids, men, women, old people, all kinds of folks all over the place who are stuck in this game and trying to figure out how to move forward. As far as like how to get out of this, basically this simulation that they're stuck in. And like I said, the main character is Kirito. He was, I mean, and still is. I mean, he was a beta tester, so he had a lot of edge on a lot of players. He knew a lot of stuff, and so they resented him because he was a beta tester. They called him a beater, which is two things at once. Shout out Travis Kelsey. You know what I'm saying? He's a beta tester, and cheater. That's why you get a beater. You know what I'm saying? So nobody likes him. Nobody likes beaters. They get a bad name and, everything like that. But in all reality, Kirito is just trying to help everybody. He's never looked down on anybody. And he is a solo player. He doesn't belong to any guilds or any organizations or anything like that. He's a solo player. He develops friends, obviously, along the way. And so, I'm gonna stop it there with the introduction, just in case you haven't seen it. So I'm gonna talk to my co-host real quick about it. So let me ask you. I'm gonna go ahead and hit our guest speaker of the professor. Our guest speaker today. So, Professor, what did you like about Sword Art Online, and what didn't you like about Sword Art Online?
Man, what I liked about it, it's probably my favorite anime series of all time. It combined my, one of my two favorite things, RPGs and anime. And I was just kind of blown away by the story. I think it's called Netgear. You put this VR on and then you were in this, immersed in this world. I think Log Horizon may came out before it. I don't remember which one came out first, like one of the first animes that a character got to submerge himself into a fantasy world. They had the real world, they had the fantasy world, and then was it Kayaba, I guess the villain, he trapped everybody in the video game. So it was life or death. And they had to live, a real life in a video game. And the only way out was to beat the game, which nobody had done. I think the beta testers, they only got to, a low level. They hadn't even gotten near I think it was 99 to 100 floors they had to go through. And so you go to the story of these people trying to beat this game. Of course, Kirito, solo player, him interacting with other characters. Asuna was one of his friends, then became a love interest. So they told a really interesting story of, fighting for survival, friendship, being a loner. He went through, meeting some lower level players, hiding his true identity. Then that ended kind of in tragedy, how that affected him. So you got this whole story arc of him. Got a love story between him and Asuna. You got him, Kayaba in the background, just kind of his thoughts of this genius that he looked up to. Him kind of betraying all of these players and putting their lives on the line. And so it was just a tremendous story. I probably watched the whole series, 6+ times. Not the whole, the original arc. 6+ times. Just I watch at least once a year. I enjoy the story that much, and I never get tired of it. And so it's probably my favorite anime series of all time. I really don't have any dislikes of the original art. I liked everything about it. So no real dislikes. Liked all of the characters, how they put everybody together. You had some people not taking things seriously as they should. You had people committing suicide. You had people committing suicide in the game by just fighting enemies that they had no business fighting. Kind of committing suicide, not taking it, as seriously as they should have. And so, just had a combination of just great storytelling, things that I had never seen in the anime before. Now a lot of things get done over and over and over again. It was kind of one of the originals as far as going into a video game world, real world, video game world, and trying to get back to the real world. And so, it's just a great anime. I think it's a great watch. Definitely, recommend it to anybody who hasn't seen it. They have different other arcs. I guess we can talk about the other arcs. I think one I did not like is the Gun Gale arc. Never finished it. I've watched it, tried to watch it several times. I just never got into it and never finished that arc. I think I've heard it's good, but I got to go back and watch that one. That's the only one I didn't like. I just didn't get into the full story. It kind of went too far away from the original two. The original arc. Then they went to the fairy arc. I think the third arc kind of online. The Gun Gale arc kind of went too far away of what I liked about the other two, and I think that's kind of what turned me off to it. Not that it was a bad story. I think they just went too far from what I enjoyed from the first two arcs, and so I didn't get into it. And so I'm going to go back and try and force myself to complete it. Again, I've heard it's good. I believe that it's good. But again, went too far away from the first two arcs. Now the fourth arc, amazing. Kind of went back to what the first two were. The real love story between him and Asuna, the story between him and the other characters, and him kind of being stuck in the game at that point. He's a legend at this point. As far as these video games, being a tester, it's a great series. 3 out of 4 arcs for me. Great series. Can't wait for the next arc to come out. That's all I got.
I got the same question for you, Mr. Conspiracy. What did you like? What didn't you like about the series?
Man, Sword Art Online for me is number one until Solo Leveling is finished. When it comes to anime, storytelling is phenomenal. I am a rare breed when it comes to Sword Art Online because I've seen every single episode from all arcs, every single last one. And for me, I've seen every arc more than once. So for the Bullet arc, it's in English it's called Phantom Bullet. It's the Phantom Bullet arc. I actually like it. I understand why a lot of people don't like it. Like the professor, I get that because it goes away from the Fairy Dance arc, and the Arcrad arc, which is the first arc. It goes away from those two, which is what makes Sword Art Online very special. And I know why people don't like it, and it's because of that, because it doesn't give it that feel. How the Phantom Bullet arc is more, I want to say it's more raw, it's more dark, and because it's a murder mystery, but it's in a more of a Halo type of setup, modern, little mixed with like Modern Warfare type of setup when it comes to the game. When you go into a virtual game, so it's a murder mystery, and for me, it's the griminess of it I enjoy, because instead of just weapons, swords, spears, bows, things like that, like they are using guns. To be honest with you, they show really good ability when it comes to this all out battle, and it's a one versus all, scenario, winner take all, and I love that. And then you have this guy using a pistol and a sword, that this Jedi sword that everyone says you should never use, that is trash, but and he's the only one that can use it, and in his hands it's probably the greatest weapon in the game, but only in his hands, mixed with this pistol. It reminds me. He reminds me of Dante from Devil May Cry, with how he uses it. Just for me, I like the just the grit and grind. Like he kind of gets away from that kiddish high school type of mentality. I understand he just went through a kill game, honestly, with Sword Art Online, but for this, it's a little bit different because he can go and come as he pleases out the game, but it's still life or death because people are coming up dead in the game and in real life, and no one knows why, right? So it's a different type of suspense there for me. But just to move past that, I love Sword Art Online. For me, my favorite art, I'm gonna have to go with it's the last one. It is called Sword Art Online. I think it's Alicization.
Yeah,
Alicization.
Yeah,
that is my favorite arc, and it's the last arc before the movie. If people do not know, that arc is phenomenal. You're talking storytelling, battle, and artwork. All of what we wanted from the get go, they put it all in the last arc for me, and I watched it multiple times. So
nothing. You ain't got nothing negative about the series, then. Nothing negative.
If there's one negative thing, it's like, man, just let that dude accept his harem, man. Dang, I told him stop being greedy. Let that man just accept his harem. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's my only complaint.
Wow. Okay, to our female followers, all 10 of y'all, hey, don't run. All right? Don't run. Listen, you know what? Listen, I like it. Listen, I'm gonna nitpick at one thing, and this one thing I'm gonna nitpick, it relates to a lot of manga. I don't know what it is about manga, Japanese manga specifically, where cousins and brothers and sisters are falling in love with each other.
It's weird. It's weird.
It is the weirdest thing, and I'm not specifically yelling at Sword Art Online because it's across all. It's a lot of Japanese manga that's like that, and I don't understand why you gotta fall in love with your cousin or your incest must not be a thing over there. I don't know, but a lot of these love stories, and I'd be like, this is so weird to me. Like, I don't know. Maybe somebody can explain it to me, but that I don't really like that. That's probably the thing I'll nitpick at with this one. But the rest of the story, like I say, is great. Now I got to get into some of the interesting parts. Professor, what is your favorite fight?
The first arc between him and Kayaba is my favorite fight. Just because that's my favorite arc. Is the first arc, and that battle between them two, all on the line. Yeah, that was my favorite fight. Just because of what it meant. There were bigger fights, more massive fights throughout the other series. The last series you get actually armies fighting each other, and you got a lot of action, a lot of fighting. But I think for me, the best one was the first one. My favorite arc, all on the line, life or death, trying to save everybody. He's, a hero, quote unquote, a hero trying to save everybody, everything on the line. The way they set it up, because they didn't actually need to get to the top floor. Kayaba gave him a way out and said, okay, if you beat me, game's over. And so they're like, all right, instead of climbing, you keep climbing or you can fight me. He's like, all right, people dying, we've been we've been going through this too long. People's bodies don't know how, if everybody's gonna make it, let's end it. And so to me, that's my favorite fight.
Okay. Conspiracy. What's your favorite? What's your favorite battle? I know there's a lot to pick from, so don't hate a brother. You know what I'm saying? I'm just here to ask the question.
All right, man, that dude over there make it hard, man. Mr. Cleans, we're gonna start calling him, man, with that edge up. Because I love most fights in the first arc. I do, just because of like the music. It is perfect. The intensity, the artwork on how they do it. So it's hard for me to go against almost any of Kiriko's fights, right? Kirito's fights in the first arc. But I gotta say this though. I think the fight that him and Hallis had in the last arc against Quinella, when first it was them two, they fought first together. Alice went down. Kirito was like, nah, we're not dying like this. And then he went up against Quinella by himself. That right there. And he made that opening for Alice and was like, you end it, bro. The artwork, I mean, the music, like he put basically everything he had learned in every other arc thus far into play with that last battle. Everything he learned, he put it into that battle right there. And you saw it all come to fruition, man. That is my favorite fight.
I have to go with, like, listen, oh my God, like this always torments me because there's two fights that I just like. Blue Eyes is the first one. You know what I'm saying? Out of the first arc, Blue Eyes, because of what the battle meant. With Asuna on the line and everything like that, and he has to reveal that he's got the dual wielding. And when he first Blue Eyes back, and he was like, and he's like, Starburst Stream, and he's like, I gotta go faster. He go faster, he getting hit. He don't care. He like my baby mama gonna die if I don't rock this up. Like, and he almost died in the process of fighting. Like Blue Eyes was like, oh. I said it can only get better than that, because if that was the midway point of taking me in there, like that fight was incredible. And then one more fight I gotta give it to, second arc when he fights the other general.
Oh, the general, the
red general, and that dude's got that phasing sword and he getting hit and all this other stuff. But when he takes his cousin's blade. He pulls her blade and he go in and he start cutting that dude up, and then no matter what that dude could do, he put them blades inside and he was going ham on that dude, blew him away. I was like, yo, it's so many cool things like that you see in there. Like, I mean, hands down, like there's so many good fight scenes. I mean, like I could name a whole bunch. I think one of the coolest little details is this one is in the this is kind of the arc where Asuna is dealing with the lady who's got cancer.
Oh,
and she's playing with that one. Yeah. And my favorite part of that is when Asuna and them are trying to get in there to go fight the battle, and then Kirito comes, him and I think Klein show up, and Kirito is cutting magic with his dual wielding sword that nobody can do, because from the Gun Gale arc, he's like, your magic isn't faster than a bullet. So the dude, he gets left there, and she's like, that's my baby right there. And he's like, he puts his hand up, he's going ham. Like, I don't even know if they kill him or not or whatever, but the dude he hard. I mean, it no doubt, like I say, so many good things I can say about Sword Art Online. I mean, like you say, writing's good, the artwork is good, and I'll be the first to say this: I never read the manga of Sword Art Online. I just saw the anime, and the anime was so good, I didn't feel a need to actually read the manga, which is usually a first for me, because a lot of times I'll watch an anime and be like, let me go find the manga and see. I didn't do that with Sword Art Online. It was actually that good. So, I mean, to everybody's point, I enjoyed it. I mean, this is a great series. And if you're a beginner, you're looking for something for you to get into, this is actually a pretty good one. I mean, I would say there's some parts, if you wanted to show your kids this, they would probably be able to watch it and have fun. You have to minus out some of that weird stuff. You know, you might want to go ahead some episodes because they do, like I said, it can get a little weird sometimes. But overall, great story, great anime to get into if you've never seen anything. And I don't know what else to say about it, brother. It's
I do.
what
do.
you got? What you
I
got?
just realized something. Now it's more of a spin-off because they really don't touch on it. Please, people, skip that whole gunslinger and you will know what I'm talking about because the story is wrapped around some little girl in some pink bunny soldier outfit. She's just really, really fast and she like 3 foot, 2 inches tall. Please skip that. Don't get me wrong. She go hard. She does. I seen it. She go hard, but the story sucks.
Well,
story sucks.
Sometimes you can't do spinoffs, man. Sometimes you can't spin off and just stick with the main thing.
Skip the spinoff. So yeah, I had to throw that out there, DLC. Please skip the spinoff.
Got you. So let me ask you this, and I think I'm going to ask each of you the same question. So as far as with your answers, so who is your favorite character? Sam, I think that's a fair question. Who's your favorite character? Professor, Conspiracy? Either one of y'all can jump with it.
First, I'll let you roll.
That's easy. Kirito. It's my favorite character. It's just kind of, my bias, is the hero. He's the hero. He's the guy. He takes on full responsibility. I think that they did the character well as far as arc. You get some, anime, he's the heroes, he's a jerk or, my pet peeve, he's a wimp. He's kind of a wimp, kind of lackadaisical, kind of scared, kind of forced into it. But he was a guy who not initially took on the full responsibility, but he didn't run away from it. He just kind of let it come to him. He was a beta tester. He was a professional player. He took it seriously. He was trying to, do his thing. And then when he was called upon, when he knew he had the talent, he stepped up to the plate to save everybody. So to me, it's Kirito. You get throughout all the arcs. He's pretty much the main character. You got a lot of good supporting characters. That kind of make him who he is. He doesn't become who he is without Asuna, without Clown, without the supporting characters. And they do a great job of telling the story and kind of interweaving everything. His sister to make him, who he is. So he's not who he is without them. But to me, my favorite character, without doubt, the hero, the main guy, Kirito.
All right.
Conspiracy?
For me, our fans know this. I normally don't do this, but this is one of the very few anime, even manga, manhwas that I'm going with the main character easily. Kirito is that dude. Professor hit it right on the head. For me, all of my pet peeves, he don't mean any of those for me to hate him. He's not an idiot. He actually, learns. He's actually motivated. He takes things seriously when it's, necessary. And he understands what's important at the end. He actually thinks things through and he does fall. Or I should say he stumbles, but he always gets back up. He always finds his footing and he takes it to the next level. That's what really makes me like his character because he goes above and beyond. It's like going, plus ultra. He does that, period. And I mean, I think it's every arc he does that. That dude goes plus ultra, and I love him.
Okay. I'm going to take a slightly different path. And I think Kirito's a monster. I think the dude is hard. But I'm going to tell you, I know the person who pushed him to his greatness. And I got to put this out here. You know what I'm saying? It's my boy Yu-Gi-Oh! From Alicization arc, his other friend.
Oh yeah,
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah.
But I'm gonna tell you because they go through that, with that VR they're in, and time is so compressed. He goes through a lot more with him. But I don't want to give it away. But when something happens to my man over there, your boy Kirito, it mess him up. It mess him up real bad because that's his boy. You know what I'm saying?
Like brothers, basically, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, life or death, you know what I mean? And I think it came to Asuna, if something would have happened to her, but when it came to Yu-Gi-Oh, this was one of them times where you, in your character development, your main character, usually some tragedy has to happen. And this character, brought, Yeah, I mean, like that last arc and that's the brotherhood that they have is just insane. And what they go through, the fighting with Alice and everything, and then you get to the end and it's like, oh, like I said, I don't want to get that in the way. It's just stuff don't go the way it's supposed to. Your boy Kirito, he has to go ultra instinct. He has to go to the next level because there's no other choice. Like his boy does everything to get him. He puts him in a position to win, like no matter what. Out of all the other characters, I'm not taking anything away from them, but I believe Yu-Gi-Oh is the one who other than Asuna, has the greatest impact on his life. You know what I'm saying? Because of the time frame. So I will definitely say that. So yeah, man. Like I say, great storytelling, great artwork, great like shout out to the author of Sword Art Online, Reike Kawahara is the author. Man, you do great work, brother. I hope you continue working on Sword Art, and if you're doing any other pieces, hey, listen, we'd love to have you on the show, man. We'd love to interview you. Throwing that out there to you right now, man. It's phenomenal work. But